with MakingStarWars.net.
Hey YouTube.com. I'm Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.net, and just got done watching the episode. I'm waiting for James to come and Max to come, but just wanted to share back my preliminary thoughts. That was really rad episode. The flashbacks were all pretty neat, and thought that was cool. And we actually got kind of both Anakins, a little bit of Anakin after Attack of the Clones. Sometimes he looked a little old. Sometimes I don't think that the de-aging was a little inconsistent, but I know it's sort of a who cares kind of thing, because I care about the story more than that stuff. So I was pretty happy with it. Thought it was really good. Was really bummed to see Tala die. Was kind of hoping that she would go on and be in other things in the future, but I think she had a pretty good run here. As it true says, it was the best episode for me yet, and I loved it. And yeah, I mean, I thought that was a really good episode. And that's what I was telling you guys, that there was a really big Riva moment in this one. And so in fact, I'd say there was two. And I thought it was pretty good. And big twist for me was that she got the communicator. Just wondering how that was going to play out. How did that end up going in the end? And it was the communicator, with Bail Organa not being so secretive. What are you doing, Belle? But I think the big gripe from the episode will be, why did they let Riva live? Why did they leave her? And I don't know. It doesn't matter. I don't know. But we'll have to see what happens in the next episode to know how dumb that was, if that makes sense. But yeah, but all in all, man, that was pretty rad. I liked Darth Vader when he was sort of not even needing a lightsaber to fight her. Was just kind of able to use the Force and sort of just manipulate everything around her. And the Kenobi moments, though, in this one were really strong too. So I mean, all in all, I'm really happy. I'm almost at a loss for words for some of it, because it was that good. Soundwave says, "Holy shit!" I agree. Fuck the Rogue One hallway. Well, I like both. I don't need to take something away from something to like another thing, but I thought they were both good. How about Darth Vader's Dark Side School? Yeah, the stuff with Riva being the kid at the beginning, which was what we've pretty much figured out, a long time ago now. I liked it, though. I liked that moment with Kenobi on the other side of the door. And I like that when he starts to negotiate with her, when he does the negotiator thing. Lots of good character moments in this episode. But when he starts to negotiate with her, you kind of think she's gonna go with it. And of course she does, but she kind of tries to kill him at that door first. So I was pleasantly surprised. Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, how you doing, sir?
Good. How'd you like the episode?
Yeah, I'm just not. I'm not feeling this one.
Oh, you're not feeling it?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple things. I mean, first of all,
Mhm.
this episode to me felt more fan filmy than the previous episodes, even. You and the thing is, with the VFX and stuff like that, I get you're on a TV budget.
Mhm.
But to me, I can deal with, because people complain about the VFX saying Attack of the Clones, looks like a video game, but at least it's epic. But this
Mhm.
is kind of it's very small scale, and it's also cheap. So,
Mhm.
this just
I
just
gotta say, if anybody is surprised by the look of this episode, by the fifth one,
yeah,
they all look the same so far, I
yeah.
think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just think they're going for something of a grander scale, but they're
Mhm.
trying, because I think Mando works because it's a smaller scale story. You're
Mhm.
not trying to tell a story of a big planetary wide battle or something like that.
Yeah.
When you try to go and do something large scale,
Mhm.
but then you cut it back, it looks like you're cutting it back. There's no way around it. So it looks like they're confined to what this show is, technically, and
Mhm.
the story suffering because of it. And so
Is the
I
story
just
suffering? I mean, really though,
well,
here's the thing: is this
yeah,
because I feel like the story is really good and the visuals are suffering, and I'm not sure if I would say that the story itself is like if we were just to sit down and like at the campfire and tell the story to somebody, you would
yeah,
be like, I think it's a good story,
yeah.
but
That might not be the best thing to
mhm,
say, like the story suffering, but the presentation is definitely suffering. It would
yeah,
be like if you had an Attack of the Clones instead of like the battle in the arena, that
mhm,
you had it down to like just the two of them in a cell fighting against one monster, and then Mace Windu comes along to save the day,
yeah,
versus having this big epic scale event. It just doesn't have the same impact, and it's like they can't film Vader to save their lives in this show. He just comes
mhm.
off really fan filmy. I
Well,
feel like I'm
what?
at a
You know
Disney
what?
theme park watching
The
Vader.
I actually liked the I thought the shot was ambitious, but the one of him in Lightspeed, I was
Mhm.
curious if people were gonna like it or not, but I actually really liked the shot where it pans around him in Lightspeed. I thought that was actually a really good use of the volume for
Yeah,
once, where I was like, okay, I haven't seen that shot before, and it's uniquely, I think, set to the volume. Like without it, you wouldn't do it probably.
right. Yeah.
And
No, it's
then
not
so
all bad. I mean, there's
yeah,
moments here and there, but on the whole, just this really should have been a feature film.
sure.
Um,
I mean, obviously, it would have been nice if it had been. But
yeah.
what did you think, Max?
I I really liked it. Um, a couple of things that I was surprised a little bit. Hi Dale. Um, are we on?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, overall, I liked it. I love the shot of Vader in hyperspace.
Mm-hmm.
So beautiful.
Max is gonna die. Max, I'm choking you. Here you
Sorry,
go.
that's that's what I get for talking shit.
Mac, like 1 minute, and Max texts me.
Yeah,
They look their age.
they.
Not you, but oh.
I'm sorry. Um, no, I just I guess because I had heard like they were gonna be like I hate to say like
It
de-aging them. Like they
no,
look like they
it
look
was
like now.
both. No, it was yeah, they de-aged him in some shots, and in some shots they didn't. I mean, that's
It,
that's my takeaway from it. A couple
and
of them
Yeah.
you could tell he looks.
I'm not an ageist at all. Like,
Oh
and
no, no,
they
but
looked
there's
fine, but just that was 20 years ago. They
Mhm.
didn't
yeah,
look 20 years ago. They look like now.
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah. It
that
was
was my big like you said, as soon as that was the first thing I was like, oh, whoa.
yeah. It could have used a little bit more of the deep fake touch.
Hmm.
I would
Yeah, that
say
first shot of Anakin was kind of rough. So
that's what I found weird, dude. Was
yeah,
like the first shot was the one where you would have thought they would have
Clear it up.
dropped the cash. You
yeah, because
know.
it's almost jarring. Because at first you're like, "What am I seeing?"
Hmm.
Mhm.
It takes you a while to be like, "Oh, this is a flashback," because
No,
you're
it
looking at
didn't.
like a 40-year-old
It was not
Anakin.
its flashback.
Yeah,
It was like no.
But I mean, like when I was watching it though, I wasn't mad at it. I wasn't. It didn't.
no,
I was like, I was more intrigued than I was like. I'll have to see how I feel about that. Like when
The
I
more
watched
you,
it 50 times, and I'm just like, what? Why chat? Why Deborah Chow? Why couldn't you just get the money, Deborah Chow and you and McGregor? Why couldn't you guys go to the ATM and take out a 20 and pay to make it better right there? But but
no,
but
it
I
did
liked
look
it.
like some frames were fine, and then the others.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
confused.
It was kind of inconsistent.
It's a weird thing for them to not like get that perfect. I mean, like I said, that to me is not like in the grand scheme of things a huge deal, but it is kind of strange that they've done it in the past so flawlessly, and then all of a sudden they seem like they're struggling with it. And I was like, that's kind of weird. I don't know. There's got to be a story behind that or something. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just it's they do it so flawlessly all the time that I just I was a little shocked that they didn't.
I went through
quite
2 bags
get
of popcorn.
it. Damn.
It was
Max,
good.
don't eat your feelings, Max. Let it out. Cry. When
I don't
Tala
do that.
dies,
No, I
you
don't
don't
do
go.
that.
You don't go make another bag. Just cry. It's okay, Max.
No,
You don't got to be tough all the
I
time.
don't do that.
I know. I'm kidding.
I don't eat my feelings.
But yeah. So like I was surprised by the organization of the episode, because when we heard about the flashback, it was induced through meditation. And then what we saw here was like a complete like re-edited kind of thing where it played throughout the whole episode instead of being like the one sequence. But I think I like that better than just having like 4 minutes or whatever it probably was in the end. I don't know, but how long do you think it was put together?
The whole thing,
The flashbacks. Do you think it's about 3-4 minutes probably worth of footage?
like split up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah, split up. Yeah. So
Mhm.
anyways, like having it like dispersed through, I thought was nice. And then just getting more of the confirmation that that was Riva at the beginning, and then seeing like that she does have a plan for revenge. On one hand, it makes sense. But there's some people that are going to be like, it's telegraphed. It was I learned this word and it's telegraph. It's an old timey word and it means that they go ding 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 and they send something. But what dark side user like how is that not the motivation of every motherfucker with the red lightsaber in the whole story all the time, every time? So if it was telegraphed to you, congratulations, you figured out Star Wars for the first time. You're a big boy now. But I mean, at the end of the day, I thought that the revenge arc of being one of the kids and part of that thing was good, and I thought it was pretty brutal. Did you guys see the little disclaimer at the beginning? And I that's why they put it, because
I didn't see that.
shit happened in real life recently.
Yeah, I didn't see the disclaimer.
Yeah, it says that there's some things some people might find disturbing in this episode or something like that.
Yeah,
that's not verbatim, but that's essentially what it was saying. And
there's probably some internal talk as to whether or not they would. I mean, because I'm sure they take that kind of stuff very seriously, and I'm sure there was a thing of, hey, do we re-edit this? Do we pull this episode? Do we hold this? Is the timing bad? And I'm sure they probably settled on just having the disclaimer at the beginning of the episode.
Oh, but, sure. What else could
yeah.
they do? I mean, there's. I mean, if they held it for a couple of weeks, is this going to happen again?
Yeah.
I mean, if we don't change anything in 3 weeks, it'll just happen again. It's already happened like 12 times since then. So I mean, yeah. If people want to get really angry about something, maybe don't get mad at a stupid fucking Mickey Mouse company and get mad about actual policy. That's my take on it.
I agree.
But Soundwave says Tala can always show up before this. That's true.
I was very sad that I like her.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, on the one hand, it kind of sucks that they have a good character and a good actress to portray her, and they kill her off so quickly. But at the same time, I'm glad that they're at least brave enough to do whatever the story needs to do, and because I think a lot of times it's like, oh well, this character's cool, we'll just keep him around, and it's like there's not a story decision. There's just a, hey, we can make a lot of money, and this is going to play well with the fans, and so let's do this.
Cornhorn's mom, though, she took one into the arm. She kept on fighting. Didn't give a fuck.
She's endearing, Varma.
Yeah. Indira, get it? I get it. I get what you were saying.
I really like stop.
Yeah, no, no. I will say, like in this story, with like is it 4 episodes we got from her or 3?
3,
like 3 episodes of her. It was
Shit,
it was a complete run though. It was good. I
Damage.
mean, it did a complete thing, and it did that thing with her really good, really well the whole time. And the old Ned B, and he didn't make it either.
Mm.
But Ned B did kind of try to get on top of her though about the end. He was like, "I'm going out," and
What was that about?
I was wanted to do it with the human lady.
What was that about? And I at one point I thought
he was shielding her. He had like I think he had like some kind of like protocol or programming that he shields people from the blast, but he was just too fucked up, and when he was doing it, he just died.
for a second I thought that the blood on her hand was from him, but
Mhm.
I know it's from her. Sorry.
Sure, it's not Mace
I
Windu in there.
swallowed wrong.
I think it's all that popcorn. I think he got some
It could
popcorn.
Some kernels.
No, but yeah. Thomas Shane says this may be my very favorite episode of any live action Star Wars we've gotten. That's a pretty good endorsement there. I definitely I do feel like I mean, I'm not gonna say like that yet everything in the episodes looks movie quality, but everything happening in the episodes is shit I want and that I was like excited to like see. So, and I am of the opinion that yet this shit with like Darth Vader that they're doing right now, you can't keep doing it. Like this is going to be a limited thing with him because he could only be Mr. Manager, in my opinion, so many times before the diminishing returns really kick in, and then he's not Darth Vader, he's Mr. Manager, and that's not going to work. So but with it being about Obi-Wan, the fact that we see him doing that work is okay. Like it makes sense here. But when it's like out looking for, Suki Starsucker or some shit in some other episode, some other show that they come up down the line, and it's Darth Vader is really mad. It'd be like, okay, So so I like that yet they gave I think they gave Darth Vader a lot of good moments. I thought that they did a good for all of the stupid assholes that were like, oh, it's the Riva show and she's gonna beat him because this is the Riva. Like I thought they did a really good job of showing her in approximation to Darth Vader. Like you could be emotionally invested in Riva's story or her goals or what she's trying to do and follow that, but they're not for a minute pretending like she can, like she's in that league of fighter or warrior or any of that checkboxy bullshit. Like she's just not. Like she was and at the end he even calls her youngling. He's like, I knew what you were all about the whole time.
He's
I
ruthless in this one, in
Mhm.
like in the show period.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that we've seen him this. He's mean.
Well, it kind of infers he doesn't feel bad, at least outwardly, does not feel bad about what he did to the kids in the Jedi
No.
Temple. He's not like, shit, I shouldn't have done that. I mean, he cried a little bit in the movie after, but after I think he cried it out. I think he was okay with it after that because he just threw that in her fucking face. It's like, what are you gonna do about it, youngling?
And I knew it was her voguing with the rest of the younglings.
You did.
I know a lot of people did too, but
Riva, Las Vegas. It says, Better Call Saul, everyone looks way older and nobody complains. Anakin looking older is perfectly fine, and I love this episode. Can't wait to see it all ends. Fucking epic episode. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, like that's where with that kind of stuff, it doesn't like really bother me. But it was weird just to not do it all the way. I don't know. It's that's just weird.
For a
It
second,
doesn't
it takes
doesn't
you
ruin
away.
it.
It takes
Yeah,
you away
but
for a minute.
But
a
it's like
second.
if you're gonna do things to make them look younger in some shots, but is it really that hard just to deep fake them back like all the way to Attack of the Clones? Or but I justified it to myself when I was like, oh, this is before he grew his hair out and it just looks different. Like that's where I was with it. But
yeah, or maybe it's just Obi-Wan has a bad memory and he's like a little fuzzy on the details. I don't know. It's something. That was the one thing. Like I think it was probably smart. They probably changed it in editing in terms of like breaking it up throughout the episode, which is probably a smart thing to do. The only thing is that they didn't really. They could have done a better job connecting kind of like that. This was Obi-Wan having this moment because it went like straight from that flashback to a cut to Vader. And so it's like you get the impression, at least it looked like they are conveying the impression that Vader was the one that was reminiscing about this, not Obi-Wan. So they weren't very clear on what was who was having this flashback memory.
Yeah.
But
Maybe.
yeah, but
Were they both? I mean, I need to
could have
watch it
been.
again. I need to watch
Yeah,
it again, but
maybe.
like were they both sharing the same?
Yeah, but then
Because it is Obi-Wan who goes like
yeah.
he's impatient. It's in there, and then he knows what he's not going to do and what he's going to do in those moments based off
Yeah.
of that stuff. So I have to watch it again though. Obviously
Yeah.
this is our impressions. We just saw it
Right.
for the first time, so
Yeah.
we might have some stuff fucked up, you know.
Of
Maybe.
course.
But yeah, and then like I think Dell brings up an interesting thing here. Dell suggests maybe she'll switch sides and protect Luke. I am of the opinion she wants to go murder Luke out of revenge against him. Because if you find out that he has a son and the son's alive, and then you go and you kill him, that's a pretty big.
But
Oh, you
she
kill the
didn't.
younglings? I'll kill your youngling, bitch.
She doesn't know that though, right?
Oh, she
Well,
just learned it right now.
Oh.
At the end of the episode, she got to communicate it with Bell Organa.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And they just had the Anakin conversation, and then you just have Bell, and then he even says Owen, and she met Owen in the first episode. So she's like, oh, motherfucker, that's him. And she put it all together right then.
I'm really surprised. You know, you can get stabbed in the stomach and live. Really surprised by that.
Darth Maul got cut in half and fucking became a spider, so I'm okay with it. Like
And
it's
sat down
coming
beside
from a
her.
place of hate. It's coming from It's like if you know Darth Vader could get his arms and legs cut off and get lit on fire, I think Riva can take a lightsaber blade, thing to the stomach, and so did the Grand Inquisitor too. And I know that one thing that's going to come out is there's no consequences in Star Wars, but they're fucking superheroes, so yeah, there's not.
Yeah.
There's not.
Are you talking to me?
I'm talking to you, Max. I'm just tired of your fucking shit. I'm here to put you in your place once and for all.
How dare you?
So I'm interested to hear your guys' takes because obviously it sounds like you both really liked the episode a lot more than I did. The one thing that I didn't like about the whole Riva story is that okay, she's playing the long game. She's trying to get to Vader for what he did to her, but that would imply that she has still has a centered moral compass in terms of what's right and what's wrong, and she wants revenge against this guy that did something horrific. But she herself has done horrific things in her goal. So it seems odd that someone would be like, I want revenge against this guy that did all this stuff, but she had no problem lopping some random woman's hands off because she spoke up. So it's like, well, that doesn't those two things don't go together for me.
It's
so
like
how do you
Count
justify
Dooku.
that?
I think it's like Count Dooku. It's justifying doing terrible things because of the ultimate greater good. There's like a word for this in German that I just heard recently. Oh, what was it? It's a fucked up word. It's like
Schugenhaben.
Oh, now you have lost it after you said that. But anyways, yeah, but I mean, it's just like I think it's like Count Dooku. You know what I mean? He thinks he's gonna go and he's gonna do this thing for the wrong things for the right reason, and it's gonna work out in the end because he can handle it, and then he can't. He never gets out of it, and he ends up literally becoming exactly one of the monsters that he's ultimately trying to stop.
I have a different reading on Dooku.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's Dooku's thing. I think Dooku's just evil. I don't think Dooku gives a shit about the long game, about doing the greater good. I think at one point in time he did, but I think probably at some point he said, "Fuck the greater good. I'm going to go with the guys that are winning because it's in my best interest." So I don't think Dooku at any, way back in his younger Jedi days probably had that feeling, but at some point he completely abandoned that. But Riva obviously has not.
No, and that's what I'm saying though, is that Riva in this instance is like, if I do these things, if I become the Grand Inquisitor, I mean, we also can only surmise or guess what her plan is. Why did she need to become Grand Inquisitor? Is it the idea that she's going to use the other people, the other Inquisitors in line with her to do, you know what I mean? Was that like her bigger plan? Was it just to get close to him and stab him in the back, like she kind of was trying to do right there, just to have that proximity, you know? Because we do see earlier in the series before, they're like, you talk to him, like the fifth brother's like, oh shit, you talked to him, you know? And that hadn't been a
Yeah, and
thing.
that French kissed him
And
too.
one
So
thing that also to throw out there is fifth brother got no time. I think they cut him. I think they might have cut him from the episode. But anyways, so I guess the proximity to Vader in this mission was her like ultimate plan. And then and you know, I think, I mean, she's using the dark side though at the same time, and her moral compass is still controlled by revenge, which would ultimately entail corruption. At least in a George Lucas like morality tell, it would ultimately, that's where it's going to lead. So she's not supposed to. I don't think she's supposed to be a justified villain. I think we're supposed to understand why she's doing what she's doing, which is she's one of the kids who had to pretend to be dead in the Jedi class when he wiped everybody out, you know what I mean? And then and now she wants to wipe him out, but he's fucking terrifying, and like it's really difficult, not something you can just walk up to him and fight him, obviously. So
I liked how they kind of explained that point of view, because we've never seen that. She's like, I thought you were gonna help. I thought he was gonna help us, and he ended up not. So
Thomas says, I'm curious if they will attribute to Darth Vader saying, I was but the learner, now I am the master. I don't know. Maybe. Neil says, thought they would show Riva dragging herself into the Bacta tank that Kenobi used. Maybe. I mean, I think at the end of the day, if that helps anybody, they could do that. I mean, if they made this a novel and you read the novelization of it, they would probably write in a justification just like that.
I have a question for Neil. Is he hungry?
No.
No?
No. You just look at him. Just say
he looks hungry a little bit.
Chris really loved her calling her youngling nice touch. Yeah, that was good. And the I'm not I wasn't like the biggest. It was weird. I wasn't the biggest fan. I'm still not the biggest fan of the Force users grabbing the ships. I don't really necessarily like how that. Like, I didn't like it in Episode 9. Didn't really like it here, but I did like the fake out. Ultimately, that won me over, was the fact that we're doing that, and then once again pulling ships down, another fake out. But it was the other ship. I like that they saw he would go for the closest one because he's just fucking blinded by stupidity and his I'm gonna get that guy, like, hatred, pissy fit, dark side bullshit stuff. Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm not a fan of the whole Force pulling down, because I mean, why didn't he pull the Falcon down in Empire?
Oh, that's not a Falcon. It's got its engines go like this. Those engines go like that. So
that's
that's what they said in the story meeting. But yeah, Vader tearing off the side of the ship was awesome. That part was pretty fucking cool. I did like when he started like tears the ship apart.
Until he
literally
tears
the ship apart. Yeah, until he finds the plan. He literally tears the ship apart.
Yeah.
They just got to be careful, and like it kind of goes back to the whole pulling the ship down. They got to be careful to not try to like go for all this. Wouldn't it be cool if? Because you can start getting like really random inconsistencies in the stories with force power use. And that was actually when they asked George Lucas what his concern was with, like, Disney going forward with his stuff, is like, I hope they don't turn the force into some, nonsense.
Yeah.
And so there is a little bit of a fear of, like, anytime they have characters using the force, they should be very, very cautious with doing that.
Yeah, I was Eric Den says, dude. And Darren says, hey Jason, 10 out of 10 episode. I loved it. It was almost perfect for me. Any idea though why they did not really DH Hayden for flashbacks? Thought that was odd. Also, he should have had a scar. he hadn't got the scar yet. He gets the scar in between the movies. I mean, they literally could have given him the scar in that scene if they had wanted to. They could have had him fuck himself up and give him the scar if they wanted to. You know what I mean? With his own lightsaber in that fight if they wanted to.
That'd be the
But
best story.
yeah. But so yeah, he gets it in between. But
Really?
he did look huge though. Like in the scene though, he looked bigger to me. He looked more like Darth Vader to me in terms of like his size in relation to Ewan.
Yeah,
I don't
he looked
think
taller to me.
yeah. I think they must have like gave him those platform shoes with the goldfish in it from the 70s.
High heels. High heels.
He had the kiss boots on.
He's
Kiss
wearing
boots.
heels. High heels.
Thomas says, "This is why I wish people had waited before complaining about the story. There were reasons things were done that would pay off later." Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, there's a big problem with people who review things on the internet where they start composing tweets while they're watching it in their brain, and then they miss all of the important stuff. And then when we actually get to a conclusion in the story arc, they're
miss it.
permanently forever stuck in the fact that like Luke Skywalker didn't turn back into the original guy and help everybody. He wouldn't do that. Yeah, I know he did. He went and helped everybody. You're right, but you're too fucking stupid to pay attention to the end to get to the part where that happens. I mean,
I love it. I had someone online was saying they couldn't believe that the music's horrible and why aren't they using any of the scores from the original movies, and whoever made that decision should be fired. So then I posted the tweet of from Natalie Holt saying that was from George Lucas. Like, so
Yeah.
you want to fire George Lucas is what you're saying, you know?
I will say though, when it comes to that, that I don't know if Lucas said that for this thing as much as he just said that in general.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were honoring that as a general, just like kind of guideline for things.
Yeah, right.
Because like today I even like read a thing from Hayden Christensen. They're like, "Did you ever hear from anything from George about it?" He's like, "I haven't heard from George at all. I hope he's liking the show." And like that was, you know what I mean? Though
Yeah.
I mean, maybe just Hayden because he's like, you know, he's sort of not like, you know, like he's Ewan McGregor in it or something, you know. But Darren says, "Can't believe Riva fight with Vader was that sick. It wasn't your leaks that was a surprise, to be sure to welcome one. And Vader stabbed her. Her character motivations explained also. I love it. Yeah, me too. But it was pretty good." Does this kind of the second fight? No, it doesn't. This is not. This isn't the fight. That's next time on Obi-Wan Kenobi, or Bounty Justice, as I like to call it. Darren Ferguson says, "Oh, people are already complaining in post-viewing posts saying Vader would have just killed her, not left her for dead again. People will never be." Yeah, see, I knew that was gonna be a thing. I think though we should wait and see if there was a reason that they did that. Because
Where are
they
people
don't-
seeing all this?
in their butthole? But probably on Twitter, probably also known as the butthole of the internet.
Mm-hmm. The interwebs.
But what I'm going to suggest is that they damn well knew that she was working with Kenobi in that moment. That they know, like he figured it out. She says he was wise to use you against me, and then fucks her up, and then they leave her there. And I think that they probably think that she's going to go back to Kenobi, and that's how they'll find her.
Yeah.
You know, that's my how they find her or whatever, though, you know, beats me. But
Sorry, I just laughed at Meg's comment.
What?
I just I laughed at what Meg just sent us.
Oh, what is? I'm not down that far.
Sorry.
Like the Grandpa Anakin.
Oh, she loves Grandpa Anakin. That is Grandpa
You're
Anakin.
terrible, Muriel. Terrible.
Yeah. That like I said, it's very strange that they just didn't deep bake them entirely. That's just really, really weird. Almost wonder if they were like
they
up
not pay
against the
attention?
clock, and
Yeah.
they definitely knew. I mean, maybe there was a reason. I don't know. Maybe deep baking against lightsaber fighting like that they were doing from the prequels. Maybe it doesn't work. Maybe
Yeah.
in the end it doesn't work because like when the face moves, it loses the dimensions and shit. Maybe it became an issue. But you
No,
would think
this was
it,
like lit. It
you,
was fully
but
lit.
no, it's not lit. It's when you do this.
No, the
That
daytime shot.
I know.
Yeah.
But when you turn a face with deep fake stuff or any of the fake stuff and you do this, the algorithm fucks up.
It goes like
So
this.
when you have a very straight on shot like that, it will look perfect. If they're like this the whole time, it'll be perfect. But it's when you move like this, if the face did this, so you're doing a lightsaber fight like that, it maybe it just wasn't possible. But some of the shots weren't Grandpa Anakin. Like I saw a couple of them. He looked like Attack of the Clones Anakin.
Yeah.
Other ones he didn't. And I have a feeling it might be lightsaber fighting. And with the choreography, just didn't work.
I would say no, just for the sole reason that first shot was not a lightsaber fight shot. The camera pulled back.
Yeah,
maybe.
Right.
I mean, maybe.
You're
Maybe.
You're right.
But yeah, so I don't know. And like, you think back to that time when they did the Robert Downey Jr. de-aging in the Marvel. I forget which one it was. And that was how many years ago?
Yeah.
So yeah, they definitely could have done a better job. So I'm sure there's an explanation as to why. It is bizarre, but like I said, that's a nitpick. I'm not.
Yeah.
That doesn't like.
I mean, in all seriousness, though, I could look at it and see that it's not the Attack of the Clones Anakin. Like you could see that he looks older.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely at the same time will give it. Doesn't look like it's 40-year-old Anakin though either. But it still kind of doesn't necessarily fit in between Revenge of the Sith and that though. So I'm not really. Yeah. It's a hard one. It's a hard one to put my finger on about like how it went that way. And I knew that they were doing, but I know that they were doing the visual effects, and I talked to somebody who was involved. So, I'm curious. Maybe now they'll talk about it more. Maybe one of the interviews post episode we'll hear something.
Somebody online will do a revision of it, and then they'll hire them like they did the deepfake Luke guy. And
yeah.
So.
Fan Force says Riva story arc was done beautifully, and Eric says, yeah, Anakin seems to play different now. It hits home and it's more horrific than when Revenge of the Sith came out.
I agree.
Thomas says, at this point I don't care, I'm really happy with the show and couldn't ask for any better. It was a beautiful chapter. Yeah, I mean, like once again, I think I can anyways critique and see that it visually it's not a movie, but
It's a show, TV show.
The story is. I've seen Star Wars movies with worse stories than this, as far as I'm concerned. So
Have you?
I'm yeah.
Just kidding. Uh-oh. Oh,
wait,
he's trying to communicate.
That's implying that there's a story in that movie.
Yeah,
giving it too much credit.
But for a character that was only in 3 episodes, her death hit me hard. They're talking about Tala's death. Yeah, yeah. Tala dying was
made me sad.
It worked well, and they gave her the bomb too. So
yeah,
she can't dark side it.
I don't know what was worse, her dying or Wade dying.
Oh, Wade the whole way. Yeah. I mean, because Wade he drove a sewage speeder. That was for
linchpin of the entire Skywalker saga right there.
You know why the hyperdrive broke just now? Probably the septic tank was full because Wade wasn't there to dump it in his airspeeder. If he had been there, they wouldn't have been in there. Wouldn't it have been cool though if, because Wade couldn't do that, when Vader pulled it apart, if he just got shit splattered, just like all this shit just comes at him, and it's like Wade wasn't around to tow it away. So
he's the Randy Quaid of Star Wars. Shitter's full.
Randy Wade. Thomas Shane says for a character. Oh yeah. Hey Ed, how's it going, dude? Why didn't Vader force hold the Millennium Falcon on Hoth? He did it pretty easily in this episode with the escape ship.
Yeah.
He didn't know how then.
Yeah, and if you need to justify it to yourself, ultimately Leia and the Falcon isn't really like the prize. It's getting to Luke, and so You could, I mean,
Yeah,
at the
that doesn't
end of the
hold
day,
water either.
the reason why he didn't do it is because they hadn't thought of that idea yet. I mean, in reality, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think if Lucas is still in charge of Star Wars, you don't see that.
I don't
That's the
know.
reality of it. I don't think Lucas would have. I mean, yeah, Lucas always kind of saw the Force as being a fairly limited thing.
But he also did the Force run at the beginning of the, you know what I mean?
and never did
And
it
then,
again.
but he did it though.
He learned his lesson.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah, he was always quick to say like the Jedi aren't superheroes. They're they're not Superman. They're not the Flash. They have abilities, but they're not.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, no, he also says the exact opposite, where he says they are superior. Like George Lucas is full of shit. This is full of shit. At the end of the day, I mean, I love him,
Full of poo poo.
but he is without Wade to remove George Lucas's bullshit now. Thomas Shane said, I felt really sad for Riva. And Sir Marshall said, man, I'm glad we finally got some context for Riva in this episode. Loved it. Mark says, people are saying this should have been the level of consistency with the series. The problem they don't understand is that everything has to build up. Right. Like that's been I mean, from day one, that's been the fucking problem. Before they ever even heard anything about Riva or saw her on screen, they were already going, she's coming in between our boys. We don't like this, you know? And I have to say, like personally, I feel like we got a fuck ton more Anakin throughout this whole thing so far than anybody actually should have expected.
Right. So many people are complaining about, oh, they hyped it so much that Anakin's going to be in the show. It was all just a bait and switch, and I think the show ain't over yet.
I mean, he's even on Mapuzo. You know,
quit talking about Mapuzo.
Mapuzo's on fire. He burned up on Mapuzo. That's what she says. He burned up on Mapuzo.
There's a spray for that.
I wish the show had a higher budget. I mean, it's Obi-Wan Kenobi, man. Yeah. No, I totally.
I saw a ship that looked not perfect.
Yeah.
Well, it's not even that. Like I said, it's just you can't do big, giant, epic stories on a TV budget, and this kind of proves it. And that's where my thing, because to me, my critique is not the story or anything like that. It's literally the execution. And I get it because like if you do like a musical analogy, you say I like the Sex Pistols and I like Rush. No one's comparing the Sex Pistols to Rush and from a technical aspect. So if you're comparing this show on a technical aspect to any feature film Star Wars release, you're fucking high. It's not even close. I mean, the execution of this story is shit compared to even the worst Star Wars movie. And that to me, that's my breaking point. I mean, I'm cool with Mando and some of these other smaller scale stories being done like this. But something epic where you involve Vader and Kenobi should have gotten the gold standard treatment.
Yeah,
that's my take on that.
Did you like the show?
Did I like the episode?
The episode.
I mean, to me, the show is a C. It's not bad. It's not good. It's just meh. There's a lot of episodes of Mando where like I would watch the episode and I'd wake up the next morning like I'm gonna watch this again. I've not had that with, and I thought last week's episode was okay. I liked last week's episode, but at the same time, did I feel like, oh my God, I got to see that again? No, to me, these have no rewatch value to me.
Really?
Just like it is what it is.
You're brutal.
It's not Book of Boba Fett where I'm like, my God, but it's also not something like a lot of the A+ episodes of Mando where I'm like, this was fantastic and I want to see this again and I can watch this over and over. There's nothing here that I really need to revisit, and that's a disappointing thing because I think I was hyped.
You're really excited for the show.
I thought and based off everything that Jason had said prior to the show coming out, it sounded like they had gotten this down, but then you see it and it's just not executed well from a visual storytelling standpoint. So people can say the story is great, but just because you have a great story, I mean, you could have the best script in the world and you could fuck it up. I mean, so yes, the story is fine. It's not the story because a lot of people were complaining about, oh, the writing and the directing are terrible, and then when you try to like push someone and say, well, why? Well, you can see it. Okay, what makes the writing terrible? You know, if somebody can't articulate exactly what it is in terms of that, then they're just throwing shit out. Though you're just saying I don't like it, which is fine. But if you can't say it, then don't blame the writer for your inability to, you know, say why you didn't like the show.
I actually did like it. I mean, obviously I like the show, but I've started to watch them. Shut up. I've actually started to watch them back to back. Like after each week, I've been watching them all together, just to kind of. It's a good like story.
Yeah. So
Emo.
well, I guess what's your favorite story in Star Wars, Max? What's like your go-to? Is it like one of the TV shows, one of the movies? Like if you had to sit down and pick one Star Wars thing to watch, what's it going to be?
To watch it over and over?
Yeah.
Now, Mando.
Yeah. Okay. I think.
Yeah, I have the exact opposite thing from what you said. With like Mando, I watch it and I get it. I enjoy it. I have a good time.
Yeah.
And I really don't want to watch it again, usually until I've forgotten it, until it's like not fresh in my head. And then I enjoy watching it again.
Mm.
But on this show, I've already watched it like the whole thing 4 times. I watched it again before this episode. And I do think though that they play a lot better altogether. Like when you're not compartmentalizing and putting like a whole stern judgment. Like when you go to watch a movie, like that's the thing about it is the chapters of this are all connected as if it was a movie.
That's what I was trying to say right now.
Yeah, like when you go to watch a movie, you're not like, oh man, part 1 of Act 2 is really pissing me off right now. You don't really get that emotional about it. You go, okay, let's get to the end of Act 2. If it's a 3 acts kind of story, and that's where this show is. I mean, it's just where it is weird. It is a different animal because of its production history, I think.
Yeah, and it's funny, as much as I'm not really feeling this show, I see a ton of people with their takes on the show that don't like it, but their takes are just shit. So I'll be the first to admit that a lot of people that are hating on the show aren't coming with valid things. Like, well, we didn't see Anakin enough. Well,
I have to say,
you saw this episode. Now, what do you think?
I have to say that this is like the first show that I really haven't paid attention to what a lot of the internet has been saying.
I was just curious because I'm always kind of interested. First of all, I want to know how things play, because the thing that sucks is like if somebody likes the Star Wars that I don't, I'm going to get more of the Star Wars that I don't like. And so that's I'm kind of vested in it, is that if everybody was like, oh my God, Rise of Skywalker is a 10 out of 10 and I want more Star Wars movies like that, I'd be like, well shit, I'm done.
I follow the logic in that, but I also think it's like every time they go to make one of these things, it does its own thing no matter what. Like every time something seems to be a given, every time they're going to go one angle, it goes completely, it goes sideways for better or worse every time. And things never like I generally hear what their intentions are. Like I get the intentions like every time, and then I see what they do. Sometimes I'm like, that's way better. Sometimes I'm like, I liked your intentions, but you didn't pull it off. And so like with this one, with the intentions of the story, I feel on the intentions of the visuals. It's not really connecting. It feels like everything is like I made I feel like this series, look, the current iteration of the volume and Disney Plus on TV, we're in the Attack of the Clones era. When I say that, I mean, look at how Attack of the Clones look compared to Revenge of the Sith. This is the Attack of the Clones era of those visual effects. It needs to make that jump that Attack of the Clones did to Revenge of the Sith for digital. That needs to happen.
Do you think they're just in a time crunch that they want to release it at
it's time? It's definitely time crunch to some extent. It's cost. It's time versus money, I think. But more than anything, people keep saying money. No one knows how much it cost. Anybody who's saying it is talking out their ass. Like, it's not official anywhere. Nobody knows what this cost. And but I do think that time is the big thing. Look at the turnaround from when they were filming to when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
It's less than a year.
Mhm.
So
And, yeah, you think about all the time they put into this prior to it becoming a TV show. Even, I mean, think of all the money they spent in pre-production, gearing up to make it a feature film.
mhm.
And I mean, that's money that goes into the budget of this show, like it or not.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
so yeah, they got to recoup all that money. So the more they kind of stall and they change their mind, and they, that all takes out of your resources.
Sidious Rising. Thank you for being a channel member, Sidious Rising. Kenobi is now in his Mythos look with the sleeveless robe and the Jedi tunic. Such a cool nod. The costume did look pretty fucking cool. I was pretty happy with it. He doesn't look like a homeless Kenobi anymore. He doesn't look like he's asking me to buy him a hamburger outside McDonald's. I would do it. I'm not saying I wouldn't do it. I would. I'd buy him a hamburger. But it looks like this guy would buy me a hamburger. I'm just
Is
saying.
Leia gonna be out of the rest of the show, or you can't tell? You can't say.
No, I think she's in the next episode. She's in all 6.
She's my favorite.
Yeah.
It's the
I
Leia
know.
show.
That's what I was telling you. I was saying on the show earlier. I was like, even Leia has something to do, and I was like, I wasn't sure how that was gonna play out. I wasn't sure how big that was of her fixing the gates or whatever, because it seemed like there's not really a lot to it. She goes in, but they made it last through most of the episode. But she did it though.
Yeah, they did drag it out a bit, but yeah, I mean, you have to have her do something. You can't just have her.
Ask me if I'm gonna buy a Lola.
Are you gonna buy a Lola?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though I don't. It's all right, but I'm gonna buy one.
I'm gonna be honest with you right now, Max.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, more honest with you than I've ever been in my whole life. Lola's a two-faced bitch. Because I saw her do 2 different things in this episode. Inconsistent character, bad writing.
Yeah.
She was under the
1 star, bad eBayer, slow shipping. Would not buy it from again.
She better have some really
I'm
good
kidding.
powder in her when I open her.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, I know. The I was kind of like Leia kind of took the tracker off Lola and was just like, oh, let's not talk about this. Let's not, let's just. I don't know how they jacked us. It wasn't from Lola with the red scary eye. Old Republic says Hayden looked good in the flashback with Ewan, but in Order 66 they should have done a better job. Not de-aged in Order 66, but sometime during the training session. But cool, they did both flashbacks. Yeah, it was. That was the Order 66 Anakin. I wasn't sure if they actually did it.
I would have thought they probably have enough like cut footage from Revenge of the Sith. They could probably just taken some shots there and repurposed them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised they didn't do more of that.
Because then it'd have to give George Lucas the director's credit for the shot. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just joking.
Yeah,
they probably don't care. But they probably just would have said directed archival or something like that. But Shogun Order says when you get the shot in the stomach in real life, it takes hours to die. So,
I mean,
I don't know why
don't
they thought.
know.
Yeah, how does he know this?
No, I mean, I'm completely okay with, like I said, hate keeps them alive.
Did you ever hear the story?
Tala got shot. She died.
Mm-hmm. When Peter Jackson was directing Christopher Lee in his death scene in Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah.
He gets stabbed by Wormtongue.
Mm-hmm.
And when they were filming the scene, I guess Christopher Lee didn't make a noise when he got stabbed. And so Peter Jackson, he said cut, and he's like, you got to, do something or more. And Christopher Lee is like, no, that's what it sounds like when you stab somebody. Peter Jackson was like, alrighty then.
Like, yeah, well, he was a Nazi hunter. He was an assassin.
Yeah,
badass. Beskar Boner says, love this episode. So once again, your info seems spot on, my guy. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, there were a couple of things that were like a little bit different than I expected, but you could see where I was coming from. Like they had like the the boxes full of lightsabers and stuff like that, like all packed up. They clearly filmed some stuff where they were like getting that stuff out and disseminating it and putting it away or whatever it happened to be. But what we got in the end was just the boxes there. There was none of that stuff. They didn't show it. But you did see the boxes with all of the lightsabers in them and stuff like that. Apparently only Han and Qui-Gon can't take sabers to the gut, says Ben Bamboo. Yeah, you know what?
Ben Bamboo.
Yep.
Maybe
the older you are and the less stomachs you have, because Grand Inquisitor has 2 for some reason. That's like a thing.
So he eat a lot.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Han also had the
Young Boomer, thank you for the super chat, Mr. Boom. Anakin's faults are strengths when it comes to a wartime scenario. Why he was a fantastic general, but peacetime, he never matured as a Jedi. Yeah, that was kind of like what Lucas was going for, I think, is the fact that his schooling is kind of cut short by war. And the Jedi weren't supposed to be warriors. They were supposed to be peacekeepers. And he's supposed to be essentially be a student. And he's promoted to general. And then he ends up promoting him to the Jedi Council, which is not even his place to like do. And then they don't make him a master, which also insults him.
You said do.
Mm-hmm. Do.
Just kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, it makes sense. I do have a question though. How come Qui-Gon died if everyone survives the same lightsaber wound? Because he didn't have his hate didn't keep him alive. That's the difference. Also, he was kind of experimenting with that life after death stuff. He was already on that path.
He wanted to go.
He may have said,
Fuck this.
This is I mean, he did the meditation before. Maybe he figured this is what I'm supposed to do, and he does retain his life after death. He does pull it off. So I mean, we can make it work for us just as much as it works against us, I think.
There's actually a cutscene where you see Obi-Wan put a pillow over his face right after that.
This is exactly why they should not have recast Luke. Just get Mark Hamill to act like a 10-year-old. Hey, I'm 10. What do you fucking want? Mark Hamill at the sleep.
Nice.
But yeah, and I will say too, like, not to get too far ahead of myself, but I do think that that last shot confirms what I said would happen with Luke and Riva. I mean, it's all there now. Like, I think it's all there. So, but I don't think she dies. Like I said, I don't think they're gonna do the part where he kills her at the end.
That's kind of unfortunate, I think.
But I'm curious as to how that would have gone down anyways, though.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like with this part now, so I'm thinking that must have been changed a while ago.
Yeah.
That must have been something that changed before the reshoots of the series. So when they I thought maybe they just snipped it out. But I'm wondering if it was snipped out and then the stuff with Riva fighting was from the August reshoots that they did. That's a theory. I'm just trying to figure out how all of this fit together, because I clearly don't lie. I clearly don't make shit up. But I'm like, there's like things that I just don't understand right now how this works.
No, it's not surprising at all that they would change to keep her alive. Because even look at like Rogue One, where Gareth Edwards was like, "Yeah, we wrote it where everybody died," and we thought for sure they were going to be like, "No, they weren't going to go for that."
Yeah.
It's always a thought. So who knows? I mean, maybe Joby Harold wrote in that, and she dies at the end, and then somebody at Lucasfilm said, "No, we really like this actress, we like this character, we want to keep her around. We're gonna." Yeah, that can happen at any point in time in the process.
Yeah, I mean, it does make sense when if you're writing it as a one-off standalone film or standalone story, that you go and then you would wrap up all of the loose ends, but then at the end of it, if you see a place to extrapolate from and continue to tell good stories or the story potential, just to not cut that off. Like, what was Danny Newton's character in Solo? They shouldn't have killed her. Like,
no.
that was one where you're just like, murdered
You're like,
her,
why?
and it wasn't even like a good death, and she was one of the characters you're kind of like, oh, we wouldn't have minded of seeing more of that character out
Yeah.
in the universe. But yeah,
I wish they didn't kill.
Yeah, and the
Tala.
big difference with Riva's character is that, but when you have a character in a mythology that does like horrific things or goes down a dark path, and to have them like just flip and then become the good guy, it's not a typical thing you see as a storytelling device. So it is kind of a cop out when they decide to keep those characters alive and keep them running around. Like Kylo Ren had to die at the end of the sequel trilogy. It's just once and if you have a mythological story where someone kills their father, it's not like, oh, and then they live happily ever after, or they go on. And there's certain times where it's kind of necessary.
I'm pretty sure Oedipus kept on fucking his mom, and they were totally cool. Like, got married and we're like really happy. Like, isn't that how that happens? Oh no, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's okay, win in Rome.
Ben Bamboo says Riva is going to see Luke and won't be able to kill him because she realized she'd be the same as Anakin when he killed the younglings. Yeah, and I think in her rage right now, maybe that's where her head is. I'm gonna get him back for what he just did to me. I'm gonna get the kid, and then she can't do it.
I'm gonna get you, sucker.
But look, James is rethinking everything he said now. Like, he's just like, oh man, I feel so sad. He's like, just thinking about what Riva has to do next episode, and he's just like, it's just destroying him.
He's gonna get cloned again.
Begun the Clone Wars have.
There he goes.
Yeah, I just switched to my other internet connection.
So weird.
Yeah,
I know.
I feel very
stuck up.
deja
I
vu.
say, like, I don't see myself. Like, where am I? I'm over there.
You don't see yourself?
I don't see myself over there. I just see a big blank box. So I'm
I
trying to
do.
look like an idiot over there.
yeah, you just look real sad. You look like a little sad, James. But now you're happy. You got happy James and sad James. The duality of man. Okay, now it's just you. Young Boomer says that's how you do it. 10 out of 10. Now it's gonna wait for the grifters to issue retractions. No, they won't do that. They're gonna be mad about something else. Something that like Anakin wouldn't do, or something that if they just some of those guys, they'll be like, yeah, like he hates fire, and he hates sand, and they'll just be like, so that's why that doesn't make sense. And it's just like, some of the times the shit they say, I'm like, where? Like, I wish there was somebody in those videos going, source please, a source for that, source please, because they just like literally just make up shit. So Thomas Shane says, honestly, Riva wanting revenge to me had nothing to do with the moral compass, but more of a selfish action. She took things away. He took things away from her, and she hated him for it. I mean, I guess if you want to look at like the story as a text thematically, you have Riva who's acting that way, and then you have Roken, who had everything taken from him, and is doing the exact opposite. He's being rather selfless in those moments. So that could be on purpose, but we'll see. And also we'll have to see where the story goes from here too, after the next episode. Like what do they have planned? Because I don't know. I'm actually like, I didn't know if I was really happy with the idea of Riva exiting the story alive with an uncertain fate, just out in the galaxy, like existing. But a part of me is like, well, there's an opportunity for something interesting there. So I am kind of glad that they're not closing that door. Like, I don't usually watch Star Wars and go like, that was brutal, so it was good. Like, brutality has its place in a Star War, but at the same time, like, her just getting killed at the end of it by the Inquisitors and Darth Vader doesn't necessarily pay off as well, I think, as if they're able to like keep on if they're able to keep the storylines going in an interesting way.
So yeah, I think I disagree because I think it would be a good story arc, a fitting end if she decides like, I'm going to sacrifice myself to these people and I'm going to kind of reject the path that I was on and give my life for it. And I
On
mean,
TV though, do you have to do it in this one, or can you do it in season 3? I mean, if it's at the end of the day, does it end up being? Is it the same? I don't know. I don't know what. I don't have an opinion
yeah,
necessarily.
the only problem is that and Filoni has been very good about this and in terms of saying, we don't look at it in terms of, what would be cool or what do we want to do, but what would be best for the story. Because like
Yeah,
they talked about like having Maul fight Vader in Rebels.
yeah,
And they talked about it, but they said not the best thing for the story. So as much as we like, wouldn't it be cool? It's not a good story thing, so they didn't do it. Or like the Maul Obi-Wan fight in Rebels,
right.
it's a 5-second fight, and people are like, well, it should have been longer. It's not right for the story. So they were always thinking, what is best for the story, not
But I don't
what's
buy that shit.
cool.
I don't buy that. I mean,
Yeah,
your point taken,
yeah.
but them saying that they didn't want to spend the money, so they were like,
For
for Darth Maul to get killed by Obi-Wan Kenobi in Rebels,
yeah,
they did it that way because that was a way of doing it at the price point. At the end of the day, like that's what it was. And in fact, I think it actually brings up more issues than it fixes because we should see fights like that all the time. Did we see that tonight? I don't think so. I think it was a little bit different.
yeah,
But I'm just once again though, this is like you have that Kenobi and Maul fight. Also, same thing. Why doesn't he just pull the Millennium Falcon down? Why doesn't that happen all the time? Why
mhm,
and you gotta just gotta go with it because they make a lot of this shit. That's why.
yeah,
Gotta go with the flow.
At the end of the day, but I mean, I'm ultimately okay with, like I said, I would rather have a fun fantasy than not have it because of stipulations that make Star Wars realistic, and then then it loses itself. It's a difficult line. What's the
yeah.
deal with about characters getting hit in the gut and still lives? Qui-Gon makes Qui-Gon look bad. Stop this nonsense right away, Disney. It's not cool. You know what? Darth Maul got cut in half. I mean, like at this point, like that's I don't know. I'm just like Darth Vader doesn't. His lungs got burned up. His dick got burned off, and he's still going around like he's got the biggest dick on the planet. Like, how's he doing that? That's a question we need to ask. But no, I mean, like at the end of the day, uh, I don't really think that's the most important thing here. And but yeah, I just don't follow. I just really don't. And this with this shit right here, like that's just such a stretch to me. It's a stretch that they live, yes, because it's not real.
What?
It's you guys got me
Yeah.
flabbergasted here because it's because
Star Wars isn't real?
yeah, I mean, like it's like I was saying earlier, he's a
Mm.
Darth Maul turns into a fucking Spider-Man
Shit.
because he's evil. What's her name? Boba Fett's sidekick,
Fennec Shan, yeah.
Fennec Shan. I
Yeah.
mean, that's more. That's less realistic than this. Oh, she's got a robot stomach. But I mean, yeah, she's using magic powers. I mean, I don't know. It's magic powers. What do you want? What the fuck do you want? Magic powers. Just magic powers. If anybody says anything to you, just look at them and go like this. Go magic powers. And then if they don't see how stupid you look saying it, and they don't feel how stupid they are asking it, then what can you
Magic
do?
powers.
Magic powers.
Well, you also don't want to be like that. Who's that cat on YouTube that was the one that was famous for like, oh, it's a kids movie about space wizards.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no,
When Last
I'm
Jedi
joking.
came out, he used to and then when Rise of Skywalker came out, he threw a huge fit, and everybody just totally roasted him. Like, oh,
Yeah.
why are you getting mad about the space wizard movie for kids? So you can't have him
No,
both
no, you
ways.
can't.
Yeah,
but you can't just oh, that's my favorite character, so it's okay he got cut in half and became a Spider-Man and then went on to rule Mandalore, and then for some reason wasn't ruling Mandalore, and then for some reason became a crime lord, and then for some reason wasn't the crime lord anymore. I don't know why. And then for some reason hung out with Aladdin. I mean, it's like, at what point, do you go enough with this fake shit and just start watching soap operas? I don't know. I mean, but for me, it's like, it's magic. That and Vader's quiet way back from the Falcon on Hoth. That's a pretty big hanger. I'll take that. I'll take that. It's pretty far. It's pretty far. I mean, the difference is he's about 5 times closer in this one than he was in that one. But I also said the Millennium Falcon probably has stronger engines. Like, he is struggling to pull it. Like, there is push and pull there. Millennium Falcon probably does have a hell of a lot more thrust in that fucking space bus. You know what I mean? I think you could justify this if you want to.
Well,
You can make it
actually,
work for you.
Jason, the escape velocity on the Falcon with the gravitational pull of the planet Hoth. No, I don't know. I'm just making shit up.
Fuck, dude. You know what it was? Ice is slippery. He would have done it.
Oh my
and he
God,
would have
totally.
pulled them. He would have
gone with.
There we go. Mm-hmm.
Solved.
Why wouldn't Vader pull the second ship down too? Dude, if he concentrates too hard, he'll shit his pants. It takes a lot of concentration to do that. And he doesn't want to shit his pants in front of all the stormtroopers.
I'll make dude not shit.
EJ says, I didn't quite vibe with this one. Jealous of people that are digging it. Oh, sorry, man. Maybe you'll like it if you watch it a different time. Maybe. If you were liking the other ones and not this one. But yeah.
It's okay.
Fucking Meg, man. Fucking Meg. The young boomer says you're gonna have videos now where they have, why didn't Vader run to the hangar if he can move so fast? Literally unwatchable. 0 out of 10. They'll fix it afterward like George did, says Dale. I am not against them looking at something and going like, oh, that looked like shit to everyone. We're gonna touch it up and change the shot and the edit. I'm fine with that.
You think Disney gives a shit to like spend that kind of money to fix stuff like that? Because like George was just egomaniac kind of thing. Like, he didn't give a fuck about the I just want to fix it. They didn't care if it was like a economically viable thing to do. Disney would. So I don't see him caring that much. Unless there was like a huge outpouring, oh my God, what are they then maybe, but
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is if they start to get a bad rap of not, like I think with Star Wars, I think they're always trying to find what is the line, where is it at. I don't think anybody actually truly knows. I think that internally they should be able to look at it and go, that doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
But I also think it's probably a lot harder of a thing when you're like looking at it constantly, working on it constantly. But
yeah.
Thomas Shane said, I take this over the sequels. Sure, they look better, but I prefer a story that gets you hooked, and I won't care about the look, but that just might be me. That's where I'm at with it, Thomas, is that it like I like the story a lot, so it's working for me. So I was making a joke this morning about Babylon 5 on Santa's show. People are like, well, that show was 30 years old or something like that. I'm like, that's exactly my point, is that the people who can enjoy a 30-year-old show, but they can't like a new one. But the story, if it was made then, this would look way better than Babylon 5. I'm not trying to say that Star Wars should look like Babylon 5 for the record. Just saying though that it's like really weird. Like, it's like I only watch Star Wars from the cinema, and it's like, okay, well, that's fair. You just do that then. You know what I mean? Like, if you require that, then that's what you should probably do. Like maybe the TV shows like don't work for you because maybe you need that like level of ILM that you get from the theater every time. On this show, I'm mostly okay without having it. But I do wish that when we got to those big moments, I do wish that they had gone and treated it like it was the film.
Yeah.
The
thing that sucks is I know several people that, even though they're Star Wars fans, they refuse to watch Clone Wars because it's animated.
Yeah.
And I think Star Wars works best in animation.
Mm-hmm.
Because all the limitations that I'm complaining about on this show right now, if this was an animated series, those are gone.
Right.
And it looks way better. But it's animated, and there's a lot of people like, no, we want live action. And I personally think Star Wars works best as an animated feature. If you're gonna do television,
Yeah. Clone Wars has some of the best mini movies Star Wars ever did.
In
You
the
Yeah.
know,
world.
yeah. Clone
Um,
Wars is my gold standard. The top story arcs in Clone Wars to me are the best Star Wars that we've ever gotten by far.
yeah.
Oh, I'll be.
Shit.
Hold on.
Okay. Thank you, What's Nerdy Podcast, for the super chat. I appreciate it a lot. And think we are still getting Obi-Wan versus Vader next episode. I know so. We are getting it next episode. And it's going to be the big duel. We're going to see the mask cracked. We're going to see little Anakin in there. And the weird thing is he's de-aged. It looks like Jake Lloyd in the helmet when the mask breaks. That's something I held back. Okay, I'm lying. That's not true. But the mask does break. But everything else I just said was complete bullshit.
It's actually a DH Dave Prowse.
Yeah. Oi, hey, it's me, David Prowse.
Doing the voice too. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's David Prowse doing the voice. Yeah.
I have you now.
Oh, that'd be tragic.
But yeah, but I gotta say, it's really weird that you guys, Lucasfilm, that you bring back Luke Skywalker to life and you made him like 26 years old again. But then you didn't do the same thing with
To
these
his
guys.
father.
Very weird. Very fucking weird.
You think they
In
didn't
general.
feel like they didn't have to try as hard? I mean, then they shouldn't have to try as hard, but still, it's like they just kind of phoned it in. I guess, yeah.
Yeah. It's really
That's
strange.
definitely, if you have the chance to ask somebody, there's a story behind that. I'm sure I'd be very curious to know, just from a geek technical standpoint.
Well, that was how I learned about this.
Yeah,
Was that they were de-aging him. That's how I knew about the fucking scene in the first place.
yeah.
And then I saw scenes where I think they were de-aged, and then some of them they're just straight up not.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. Like
Yeah.
maybe they should put that one Instagram filter in it that makes me not look old. They should have done that one, maybe.
Turn
Whatever
into
that
a
one's
cat.
called. Yeah. They're like Obi-Wan has a dream and he remembers what happened, but they were all dog people. Eric Denton says, why Riva is okay. The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural, like sucking your own dick. That's how the full quote goes, by the way.
Sign me up.
But Miss
To look at
Sunflower
Meg's
says,
face.
rest in peace, Tala. She was great. She really was good. She did a good job. Did a really good job. I am happy with her performance. I think she gave a really, really strong one.
I love her. Like this. I do.
Yeah.
She's
she
was really good.
She had notches on her belt.
Yeah.
Shogun Orta said, had a tad of a problem with the siege, Riva taking Obi-Wan into the base for some reason, but I much liked the episode. Yeah, I don't really have a problem with it. Like it didn't really matter to me, but the execution of it was much like it would have been executed in a cartoon. It wasn't necessarily cartoony that they did it, but the methodology was cartoony. Like, and like it made sense to some degree that you would keep the prisoner inside with the stormtroopers around him, but then somehow he magically does some Obi-Wan stuff and gets out, which I'm generally okay with because he would, and I don't really need to see it. So I'm like I said, I'm okay with it. But
the methodness.
It was like, why didn't they, like on one hand, I don't know. I think they should have like maybe beat the shit out of him. Like that's probably what I would have done. I would have like the stormtroopers just all beat the shit out of him.
I assume that was part of Riva's plan, that she kind of was going along with what Obi-Wan was saying, and so she clearly would know that this would not be a good way to keep him around.
When I watch it again, I wanna like look at that. Like was that a part of her plan, or did that happen, which then pushed her as a pawn more into Obi-Wan's plan? You see what I'm saying? Like because she's clearly like weighing like what's gonna work out. So yeah, But you're probably right. I mean, that probably is exactly why that happened, because he does do the proposal, and then she does say, "Guys, take him," and then they go take him right there, which is how he gets away, and all the guns off of him. So that's probably the logic of it. I think you're right.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Tyler says this one was a banger. I'm glad you liked it, Tyler. I enjoyed it myself. The young boomer says the problem is if she redeems herself and then sacrifices herself to Vader, it's Fallen Order again. I know there are tiers to storytelling within Star Wars, but a lot of people played Fallen Order. So that's the thing is we hear she doesn't do that now. We hear that she lives throughout this series. But to just go with the point you're making, you're not wrong. A fuck ton of people did play Fallen Order, but also most of the people who watch this show will never play a video game. I'm not most, but a lot of them. A lot of anybody, I probably am the only person in my real life. I probably know 7 or 8 people who will watch this in real life. I am probably the only one of them who played Fallen Order.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, if you're going to complain about things repeating themselves, okay, Grogu and Mando, Ezra and Kanan, Omega and the Bad Batch, all these young kids, Ahsoka and Anakin. You see that all the time in Star Wars too.
Paper Moon era of Star Wars is upon us, but it's not new.
No, and no one's complaining that they keep seeing this over and over again. I mean, at some point they might if you keep doing it, but yeah, so it's fine.
Thomas is all Star Wars Center brought it up this morning. Star Wars is not logical, and that's okay. Yeah,
It has to be internally logical, though. I mean,
right, right, yeah. Within its own story.
Yeah.
Baymax says, "I passed out. I just woke up." Sometimes Baymax gets really excited when he's watching the episodes, and he runs around in circles, and then he falls asleep. Then he doesn't remember if he watched it or not, and then he watches it again. And then he wakes up on the floor again. He knows this has happened before and it will happen again.
See, like narcoleptic, you just kind
of laughing my ass off, James. Now we know what sort of force lightning you excrete. Yeah.
God, what did I say there?
I don't know.
Afraid to ask.
150. Okay, but Luz says this was Moses' best episode in his opinion. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, that's the I think people were too quick to judge her. I'm curious to see if I think this episode should have redeemed a lot of the things that people were bitching about from the start. But once they publicly bitched about it, well, they go, "Oh, I changed my mind." That changes things. That was good. I don't know. They'll probably blame me though. They'll like, "Oh, Jason didn't tell. He told us the end part, and he didn't tell us the part, so that's why it's all his fault." I'm innocent. I didn't do it. I didn't call the race war. It wasn't me, but it was. It was you, fucker. Jake says, "So glad they gave us more than a true representation of Vader." I mean, I agree that I'm glad that they gave us the evil Darth Vader, but is it the true representation? Because what is that? I mean, he's still Anakin inside, so it's like, how do you really say what's true of that guy?
Yeah,
But
I think a lot of people with him and the Emperor, I think a lot of people get the wrong read on them. They're evil, not in like the Jason Voorhees kind of I go through the woods and kill people kind of thing. They're just power hungry and they'll do anything to get the power, but they don't go out of their way to they don't just like go around kicking puppies because it's fun. They everything they do is with a purpose, and they just don't give a shit. They want to get from point A to point B, and they'll do whatever they can to get there, but they're not going off on side quests to just randomly.
Darth Vader, the story of Darth Vader is the guy who does the wrong thing for the greater good.
Yeah.
And then that kind of informs most of it outside of Palpatine. He is probably the guy who would like drinking puppy's blood just to see if it was salty. Like he is kind of that guy. But at the same time, eventually that won't be true, I bet. Eventually there'll be something, there'll be something about Palpatine. You know what I mean? That like tells us a story about him and why he's evil. But
Star Wars Underworld. Maybe eventually.
No,
if we ever get that story. So.
I don't think so.
Do you think they'll at least go with that version of the story?
I think that stuff already informed things from Solo and things with the Pikes, how the
Yeah,
criminal underworld is organized. And
but
I
the
think,
Palpatine stuff in particular. Do
yeah,
you think they would go with that if they ever do a Palpatine backstory? You think they're pitching that?
I don't think so. Because of the way that it was represented. It was represented as a lady really did a number on an old Palp.
Yeah,
And is that what it was, or was that just how the person who knew this to Nerdist represented it?
yeah,
That might be.
yeah,
But at the end of I almost feel like and this is just conjecture on my part, but that like they did later on let us know that he stole Maul from Mother Talzin and it was her baby, and that they were sharing magic and stuff. And I started to
Mhm.
wonder if that was supposed to be kind of like how that started, if it was going to be through Talzin, and Talzin was the lady initially, or something like that. But yeah,
Hmm.
I don't know. It is still that weird era of George Lucas though, where
Yeah,
look at this episode with Riva. It took
yeah,
5 episodes for them to like really reveal what was up with the character. I still don't
yeah,
know if the general fans will be okay with it, just in general. Like
yeah,
if they've already, but George Lucas, he's like, oh no, I'm gonna really make it complicated, and like no one, like we were talking about the other day, if he did this story, Leia would have been a brat who thinks she's
yep,
royalty and better than everybody, and then she would have become and I think that there's good stuff in that, but I also think that but in this instance here, it's okay that Leia was just like this Leia depiction is fine. It's
yeah,
good. It's
yeah,
fun. It's not challenging at all. It's not challenging in the least bit.
no,
And like Lucas kind of always wanted to challenge all of that stuff all the time, or he just didn't want to do it. So I think that's where with the prequels though he like loses the audience, like with the no moments and stuff. Like I was trying to say earlier today, like with when Darth Vader does no in the Frankenstein thing, he wanted to do that callback to that old Hollywood moment, and he wanted to do it, and he was like, it's perfect. And
yeah,
then he was down to throw it in your face and then make you go like, well, just it's weird. He's weird. George Lucas is weird. So
yeah,
I find it weird when like Fandom Menace types go and then try to put him up on a pedestal as if he was like the answer. I love the guy. Don't get me wrong.
yeah,
If he never stopped making Star Wars, I would have been I would have been fine with if he just kept doing what he was doing. I would have been completely happy with that. But I'm not going to act like that dude was making mainstream popcorn cinema anymore. That stopped before
yeah,
1999. I stopped with Willow. Willow was probably like the last movie where I felt like this feels like a blockbuster movie from Lucasfilm, like in the
yeah.
traditional sense.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
mean, maybe I'm just weird, but I'm down with that shit. So,
Yeah.
I mean, but I love the prequels. So, I'm probably in the minority maybe with the Star Wars. I don't even know where the fandom is now. It's so weird. But
Yeah.
yeah, but certainly for my generation, I was in the minority. I felt like like I like the prequels better than the OT.
hmm
Of my age, that's kind of a rarity. So
Yeah.
I'm a weirdo. I don't know.
Yeah. You are a weirdo. No, I'm kidding.
Mm,
No, no,
I
it's
own it.
true. No, I mean that's
Yeah.
I definitely like I definitely felt like their prequels were more intriguing. There was more to like think
Hmm.
about than with the original trilogy, where it was just very
Yeah.
simple and like here
Hmm.
you go, But
Yeah. Well, that's where I like to get on, like, and kind of to bring it back to the show where people criticize the writing. There's a lot to writing. It's not just like this or that kind of thing. Just like in music, you could be really good at writing melodies, but you're not good at solos. I think
yeah.
George Lucas is not a good dialogue writer, but the prequels are certainly a very complex story.
Oh yeah.
And so writing also incorporates telling themes and motifs and making that all work too, which he was very good at with that regard. So yeah, so they'd be like, oh, the dialogue's wood and he's this horrible writer. Well, that's just one aspect of writing. It's not the totality of it. So
Yeah. I would even say it almost washes out to being just a really weird style. Um,
Yeah.
After all is said and
Mhm.
done,
Yeah.
he just has a really weird style, and
Yeah.
you could either go with it or you can't. And I
Right.
honestly like was pretty okay with it. It feels weirder now that we have all of this other Star Wars that
Yeah.
isn't so awkward. Like
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Where like where the dialogue isn't
Yeah.
so wooden. Where it's now it feels like okay, now it feels weird. It's
Right.
really weird.
Go watch Casablanca if anybody thinks the dialogue in the prequels are weird.
Mhm.
And that's a cinematic classic, but it's the same kind of clunky, stilted dialogue. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's yeah, but that also why I'm okay with putting Leia under a coat. I'm just saying it's like that's the same kind of old Hollywood callback shit, little rascals kind of shit that Lucas would do, and I'm okay with it. But
Yeah.
I get it. I get why people don't get it or why they don't appreciate it.
Yeah.
But there's
Yeah.
like moments to be Rogue One and there's moments not to be, and I feel like sneaking out with Leia, I didn't need that part to be Rogue One. That's why it just didn't bother me. But
Right. If them sneaking away in the ventilation shafts and Phantom Menace didn't bother you, then sneaking her out under a coat should not either. I
yeah.
mean, it's such a tropey, stupid thing. Yeah.
So Billy the Kid says, you and maybe two other YouTubers are the only ones I've seen who give the show a fair, unbiased chance. Most hate the sequel so much that nothing Disney gets a fair shake. Yeah, and then I think Randall sums it up nicely. He says, I think that's a result of algorithms, sadly, William. There's a lot of people that love Obi-Wan, but hate is always louder, sadly. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
exactly what it is. And it's like it wouldn't you would make a lot more money if you were in this for money. You would make a lot more money shitting on it and saying
Mhm.
how bad it is and generating outrage and then trying to get people to agree with you for super chats.
Yeah.
You know,
Like, and that's kind of where I like, I did like I said, my unscientific poll on a fan site, and 50%, literally exactly 50% said they gave the show a C, and then the
Mm.
other half was basically A or B, and the other half was D or F. I mean, it was like it's like split right down the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
So I just sit back those and those and I go like what other fucking show can I watch where like Darth Vader's pulling apart spaceships? What other show can I watch? I mean, Obi-Wan Kenobi sleeping on a fucking cave floor. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, that's where I do feel like a lot of the nerd culture is fucking spoiled.
Yeah.
Like I mean, there was a time when I had to read Heir to the Empire to get this fix. That shit sucks compared to this. I'm just gonna be
Yeah.
honest. That shit sucks compared to
Yeah.
this.
I remember
And
hunting
so
down the Bendems at Toys R
yeah.
Us because you didn't have the action figures.
No, and then you bought it
Yeah.
again for a fucking because it had a Tops card with it.
Yep.
It was fucking
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Gotta have the Topps card. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dark times, man. It's
Yeah.
took whatever you get.
Yeah. I mean, no, it's like but I mean I'm not justifying like the fact that the show could be more expensive or that I would have appreciated it if it was more expensive.
Yeah.
Or I would have, I mean, if it cost more and there was a way I could have supported it more, I totally would have. I
Yeah.
think people would.
Yeah.
But
No, and I hate that whole thing of like, oh, if you don't like it, you're not a real fan, or you're just a hater, or stuff like that. Like, no, dude, I love
You're not
Star
a real
Wars. I mean,
fan.
I put a shit ton of time and money into this, but to me, it's kind of like once got sold to Disney, it's almost kind of like, and not that I have kids, but if I can imagine if you lost custody of your kids, you wouldn't be like, oh well, fuck them, and they're on their own now. You'd still have a vested interest in wanting to know that things were going well. And so that's kind of where I am with Star Wars. Like, yeah, I want the best Star Wars. I haven't gotten it except for a couple glimmers of hope here and there. But yeah, I still want Star Wars to succeed. I want to come on this show. I was excited to come on here after Boba Fett to be like, man, I can't wait to do a review. And I'm like, oh my god, awesome Star Wars. And that was my disappointment, is that didn't do it for me. I was really looking forward to this. And Andor is my hope now. That's always, I always said Andor is gonna be the best of the shows. When they were first announcing shows, I said, you watch, Andor will be the best one. After that trailer, I think I might have been right. So if that one disappoints me, man, I don't know. That's gonna hurt.
well, I would say
one's gonna hurt.
with Andor, if the look of the shows has been a huge deterrent to enjoyability, Andor shouldn't have that problem. But
Certainly doesn't with
also
Fandom.
when it comes to the like visual effects sequences, like ships taking off and shit like that, probably going to be shot better too. But at the same time, who knows? The sets are better though. That's the one big thing. The sets are definitely a lot better.
Yeah.
Like I was talking to a friend today, and she was like, I showed her a picture of one of the Andor locations, and it's like a cave, and she's like, "That looks real." I'm like, "It is real. It's the real place you can go to." Like, unlike
Yeah.
the other stuff is a stage or
Yeah.
stagecraft. Randall says, "I'm a simple man. If there's a Star Wars, I like it because I love Star Wars. I might have a thing I don't like about it, but at the end of the day, I'm still watching Star Wars, and that's dope." I mean, that can be true. I mean, like that's how I felt about Boba Fett. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't like want to run back and watch it. Like I will watch it again. I will probably end up enjoying it more as time goes on, because as I just start to become nostalgic about it and just take it for like where it's memeable, start to enjoy that. Like that kind of happened with Attack of the Clones too. I think for the general audience, as that movie became more of a meme in parts, people started to enjoy it more and started to like, as opposed to the sand line making people go off in a rage. If you showed it in a theater today, people would probably clap and cheer for the moment today. And so there is a weird way that audiences negotiate with certain strangeness.
Yeah.
It does happen. Not for Morbius though. Nobody went to see that shit again.
I think it was like Babylon Bee or someone that did an article like somebody says they'll keep releasing Morbius until their demands are met. They're holding audiences hostage with it.
William says, I like that a lot. I don't instantly love something just because it's Star Wars, but always want to see what's new and for my opinion about it, not be influenced by the crowd, what the crowd thinks. Yeah. I mean, like ultimately
Yeah.
that is the way to be. And if you find yourself having the same thoughts about that the crowd has, then maybe you're all right. Maybe everyone's correct about whatever that thing happens to be, whether it's like Top Gun 2 is great or Top Gun 2 is nostalgic trash. Whatever it happens to be, it's it doesn't really matter though, because at the end of the day, like when you're watching something and you're alone in your living room or with your significant other or whatever, and you guys are watching it, if you guys have a good time or you don't, it doesn't really matter what anybody else says. Like if everybody else is saying you should be and you're not, then you're fucking not. So I'm not trying to say that like you should like it if you don't, you know. My only issue is ever when the reason that somebody doesn't like it is because they have some preconceived notion about this being about our boys, Obi-Wan and Anakin, and that's it. And no other characters can be in it. And the ensemble story of Star Wars, no other characters could be in it. Or when they have a problem with like Riva, but then go, but it would be okay if it was the Grand Inquisitor. It's like, that's a weird, you're telling on yourself, motherfucker. You're telling on yourself. But that's my take. But Ahsoka has nothing to do in this show. She will get her own show. Randall says, is it possible that there might be Clone Wars flashbacks with Anakin and Ahsoka in the Ahsoka show? I think so. If anyone knows the answer to that right now, I would take a shot at Chase and Level Up. Yeah, right now I got I just got Darth Vader coming back for Ahsoka, like actual Darth Vader in the suit. So I think that is probably it. And then once again, this is a theory. This isn't like, but it's a theory based off of disparate things that are happening all at the same time that appear to line up. You have Hayden back. I know Darth Vader's back. In the duel in Rebels, the mask is broken, just like it will be broken in the next episode here. And I think that they may do some kind of paralleling kind of thing, but also that would allow them to show Anakin in there, would justify why Hayden is in the show, and then would also have introduced us to Ezra and why they're looking for him and how they're all connected. So that's where I'm at. That's where I think is going on. But that's just a theory. Like no one has said that's what all of this amounts to. For all I know, Darth Vader is in that Amblin show. What's the Skeleton Crew? And Darth Vader, before Return of the Jedi, hunted down their families and killed them, and they ran off in a spaceship, and that's what it's for. Like I don't, it could be but I do believe it's Ahsoka because it's something currently in production. So unless there's a secret show, unless they are filming 3 more episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi and it's a secret, which I don't think they are, then
So let me ask you a question. Do you think that they happened to write that flashback sequence and then they said we can get Hayden back? Or do you think they said, hey, we should get Hayden back, you need to put him in the show? What do you think came first, chicken or the egg kind of thing?
well, so like they've been weird about treating Anakin and Darth Vader. Like they played weird games and like in their press stuff and like in what they have said because they didn't want to give things away.
Mm-hmm.
But Darth Vader was in the all of the early iterations of this. Darth Vader in the suit.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't come with Deborah Chow. But with Deborah Chow came Hayden Christensen as Anakin and having moments where you see Anakin and the flashback.
So do you think that was a story decision or that was like hey, put him in this story, work this into it?
It was supposedly when Joby Harold comes aboard as the writer and then Deborah Chow gets the directing gig.
Yeah.
She was like, this is ultimately about like how these guys love each other and don't, and like their drama. So that's when they were like, we got to get Hayden Christensen in it, and then that's when that comes aboard. I believe if this came out in 2000, what would it have been, 2020 as the Obi-Wan Kenobi as Kenobi a Star Wars story,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Hayden would have been in it.
And that makes
to my knowledge.
But
At least
just for runtime alone, that makes sense.
Yeah, because back then I was when I was asking a couple of people who knew what they were doing in terms of pre-production on it and stuff, they were like, no, he's not going to be in it, but Darth Vader's in it. Like we're doing the Rogue One thing again. And they didn't sound very plussed about it. They sounded a little bit like about, you know. So I do honestly believe that we probably got the best story iteration of this. I mean, I obviously don't know anything very much about the other stuff, like not enough to like in totality say what it all was. But it does seem like this one had the most development between with the Darth Vader stuff. I think it would have just been like Darth Vader coming on screen and going, where is he? Like he does in this. It would have just been a bunch of that. And I have you now kind of bullshit, like over and over again, while Riva ran around looking for him, you know. And well, once again, like you go back to the question of, you know, should they be touching legacy stuff at all? You know, a lot of people, not to me, Star Wars, nothing sacred. I just don't. I just go like nothing can be sacred, or you can't enjoy it.
Well, you have to be careful. I don't think it's sacred. I think they used Vader very well in Rebels. They only used him for 2 episodes.
Yeah,
it's perfect.
Yeah,
you know, he came and he went, did his thing. You know, it was that's fine. But if you, and obviously this show, it makes sense that Vader's a key focal point because it's Kenobi.
Yeah.
But if they just start doing random TV shows with random characters and Vader's in every single one of them, too much.
Yeah. I mean, what these kind of moments, like you really can't do them that many more times. Like realistically.
And kind of with my question, I was hoping that they're not going to the writers and saying we want Vader in this show. Figure it out. The story is kind of materializing naturally, and if he's in there, he's in there. But it's not like a demand that they have that you need to find a way to work this character into this show. because that's what gets us subscriptions.
Yeah. I mean, I would be overstepping to say I know exactly how that goes,
Yeah.
but I've never heard of it being necessarily like that. Like when it came to this one, like Reva was always a part of the story, even when it was a movie.
Yeah.
And like it was an idea that about how they wanted to continue the story, to make the story into a thing with these different characters, and functionally how that would allow for certain things that Darth Vader shouldn't or couldn't do, and it would add a level of complexity to it. And so that comes before Joby Harold, and they've confirmed that.
Was Riva as big a part of the story? Do you know?
I believe so.
Okay. Yeah.
But I think that Joby Harold changed the character a lot.
Sure.
Like completely changed her, or did like a whole different take from what I understand. But
yeah.
But once again, like this is all like preliminary stuff. I was getting back Revenge of the Sith, sorry,
Yeah.
Rise of Skywalker, like kind of stuff, and it was that was real loose, like what it was going to be, and like what they thought they were hearing, and I knew somebody who, because I was, if you remember, I was like, somebody said it was like the best thing that they ever wrote, and then they weren't making it. They were pissed at it at Disney. I personally don't agree with that take. I think that but at the same time, they could have made that movie then, and I'm glad that they didn't.
They said the same thing about the script for Solo, so I don't know if they're just being good team players, or if they just don't know what a good script is.
No, this is somebody who says that the Solo script is shit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This isn't like a real like PR-y person. This is somebody at Disney that doesn't like what they've been doing.
Well, I don't think that, I'm trying to remember who it was that said like the Solo script was like the best script that they Star Wars script they'd ever read. But I don't think they were doing it to just PR. I think they actually meant it, which is scarier, because it's if you're like, this is dog shit, but I'm gonna take one for the team. That's a little bit more understandable than I don't know what a good script is.
Right.
It's frightening.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you, I bet if you just sat down and read the Solo A Star Wars Story script, it's probably a really good time when you're, because it's like easy, and it's Han Solo and it's Chewbacca, and anything that it doesn't look muddy like it does on screen, and you know what I mean, though you're filling in all of you're making it look like how, and also it was that movie too. I'm not trying to stick up for the script too much, but I'm gonna say that we had a movie that was made by two guys with a different vision than what the script had, and then a guy who came back in and refilmed some of that and tried to make it. So what if this? I never read the script.
Yeah.
So what if the script is a lot better than the? It's possible, but also
I just fundamentally, to me, it's kind of goes down to the elevator pitch. And I've said this before on the show, I will take a well executed horror story over a great story that's told like shit.
Yeah.
And that's me, but that's because I think Star Wars is a visual medium. And so Book of Boba Fett I thought it was a shit premise to begin with, which is why I wasn't that excited for that show.
Yeah.
But if they had just fucking nailed it and just knocked it out of the park, I would have probably changed my mind. But I'm like, man, they got a tough task on that one. So the same thing with Solo. I fundamentally disagreed with the direction that they took that story in. I would have gone a completely different way with it. And so and then the top of the production issues that they had, it was like, well, now you also had the execution was bad. So to me, that one just kind of fell flat.
The Old Republic says, "Where is Aunt Beru? I'm officially reporting her a missing person."
Yeah, and it's Bonnie that's playing her, right?
Mm-hmm.
The show.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she's been in the background but I mean, they could have gotten anybody to play her. It seems like,
But they
unless
got
this
her.
last episode, she, I might be speaking too early, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I guess they were. They. I heard that they had filmed like stuff with Luke and Beru, like looking like at market stuff and everything like that, and then they changed that eventually, and it was just Owen in the city, and so she might have got her stuff kind of chopped, in that
Hmm.
and some of that stuff, but I'm ultimately like gonna be real about it. On Beru, I'm okay if I'll be okay. I'll be okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like the actor who plays her in the prequels,
Mhm.
but like ultimately, what is the end game for Brewer development?
Yeah.
Pouring blue milk, getting burned up. So it's kind of like,
Uh,
at least like Owen's kind of he's a hindrance. You know
so
what I mean?
you're saying that Aunt Beru is basically a 1950s housewife.
In the story, she is. Yeah, she's just that's what they did with her.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, I would have given her like in the prequels like a biker jacket, made her like a tough chick, and you're like, whoa, what happened? She really changed, man. She really sold out and bought in. Yuppie, Peru, you're a yuppie. No, I think the moment though will come. I'm not saying she has a moment. I don't want to build it up that much, but I'm saying her scene I think will be when Luke is chased by Riva.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. God, I'm pretty sure she chases Luke. Pretty sure. Yeah. But
As right now, Joel Edgerton is like, to me, the high point of this show.
you did a good
Having him
job.
play Owen. Yeah. Those all those scenes killed it. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, it was yeah, I liked when she hears his name and she's like, that motherfucker. when at the end when she like puts it together.
Yeah.
It was good.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It was a little too coincidental for me. I kind of see now that okay, they did it for a reason. But when it first happened, I was like, "What's that?" She just randomly happens to pick Owen out of the crowd, and I was like, nah.
It's a small town.
Can it just So yeah, but yeah, as long as they're using it now, it's like okay, well maybe I could forgive them. But if it were just random, that would have been like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna call this one a show because I'm gonna wake up in the morning, watch it again, and then I'll do like a little review. I'll make my notes. And I'll read them off and look at it again. With the first time. Sometimes with Star Wars, the first time I get a little excited. Sometimes I am more positive. Sometimes more negative. You never know. But my second viewing is always more of the honest. You know what I mean? Like I'm not being manipulated by my love of something. But so how you doing, Max? You've been quiet over there.
I'm gonna fall fucking asleep.
All right.
I'm tired.
This show is very exciting. It does that.
Huh?
Yes.
It'll do that to a lady. You watch it on the show, you want to fall asleep. No.
To wake up in a couple of hours to work.
Yeah, I do like though that there's always like a B story to our shows where Max is like fighting with cats, and like you see Max, and you're like,
No,
what,
no, I
what are they
wasn't.
doing?
I wasn't
Like,
fighting with the cats. No, they
Oh.
there was a bug that I was waiting to come out, and they got it. They killed it.
Next time you got to add a kitty cam to the.
And you didn't hear.
stream.
I guess you didn't hear. The boys were fighting again.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't hear them.
I
wasn't yelling at anybody. I was just letting them do their thing.
I like to imagine that like the cats are standing on each other's shoulders with the trench coat, like in a hat, and they're like, "Oh, top of the day," trying to get out, and you're like, "No." All kinds of things could be happening off camera. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just. But
if they ever get into a fight again, film it and then set it to Duel of the Fates.
No.
we could start catfights.com.
Yeah.
Get rich. We could get the guy from who used to do bum fights to produce it. Remember that? Remember the bum fights commercials like in the early 2000s?
Mm-mm.
It was like a whole thing called bum fights, and then I think like they made it illegal,
Mhm.
rightfully so. But the
I wonder why.
yeah, it might even have been the Girls Gone Wild guy. I'm not positive about that though. Something happened to the bum fights guy though. I feel like the bum fights guy went to like prison for something else. I'm gonna look into this. I'm gonna do a whole
Sure
bum
he
fight
wasn't
special.
Probably not a model citizen, that guy. Could've gone away.
I think back in the day when Kazaa remember when Kazaa broke out and everybody had that and they were for file sharing for like it was like right around the Napster era. Kazaa
Okay,
was
yeah.
like the one where you
Yeah.
could get video. Yeah, bum fights. Everybody was downloading bum fights back then. But anyways, a horrible concept. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't endorse it. But I'll be back tomorrow. 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time is the goal, provided I sleep right. And both James and Max want you guys to know
I like spaceships.
because they do.
We do.
But anyways, yeah. But if you guys want to come back tomorrow, if you guys are awake or whatever, just hit me up and I'll send you the old invite. And Rob will be on. I predict he won't like it because he's going to be running a fucking mile trying to watch it or something. I don't know how anybody tries to work out. And I mean, when I'm working out, I just hate everything. I fucking hate all of you. When I'm not working out, I love you guys. But when I'm working out, I fucking hate everybody, everything.
Yeah.
He works out while watching the show.
Yeah, Rob
Yeah.
is fueled by hate, so I mean, it kind of makes sense.
It's true. It's
Yeah.
true. If he sees this, I just want him to know, Rob, fuck yourself. So I'll see you tomorrow. All right, everybody. Have a good night. We'll see everybody tomorrow.
Bye. Good
Bye.
night.
Good
Bye.
night.
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.
Come on, let's go. It's not about